Hello there, Seth Lavolo here, owner and head engineer of Exhilaration Sensations at the Heights Music Production Studio, located here in the town of Dickinson, Binghamton, New York, where we perform electronic music production, digital audio engineering, music video creation, creative album design, and mobile and live recording services. I got a little project that I'm going to be working on here, and I thought I would record the entire project on film. It's a little bit of a music project, a little bit of an audio project. It's going to be putting together a small little music video for my website that highlights the Binghamton area, a little bit of the history then and of course now. Just a couple of pictures, one from back in maybe the early part of the 20th century, and then one of course for the part of the 21st century that we're living in today. And I'm also going to be putting background music in for that, which I found in this particular book called Images of America, Binghamton, that you can get at your local Barnes & Noble or other bookstore. And it's got a song in here that I guess a gentleman named Lester Cayley created called Business and Transportation. It's the preface of Chapter 2. It's called the Binghamton Song. Something that they put together. And what I'm going to be doing is, with the couple of pictures and video I'll be doing, I will be putting this composition together in one of our DAWs like Cubase 11 Pro and making the music behind that. It's a Binghamton song that's going to be highlighted in the About Us section on the ExhilarationSensation.com website. So look forward to that. Going to be filming the entire project from start to finish, so again I can give you a demonstration of what we do here at Exhilaration Sensation at the Heights Music Production Studio, and we got a lot of exciting things to show you, so stay tuned. Okay, we're back, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to highlight the video portion of our project. The more simple part, of course, it's not going to take much time to do. And we're using Davinci Resolve 17, and this is our primary nonlinear video editor where we compose clips and create music videos and video productions for all our clients. We're going to start just creating an untitled project. And I've already got the images in here. I found an old video, old picture from the Library of Congress that we have permission to use, as far as like the Binghamton old picture, and of course the picture that's currently on our website of the more modern looking view of Binghamton. So we're just going to pull those in as media and open up our timeline and pull these photos in, and there they are. And we're probably going to, just as an estimate, make these each 15 seconds in duration. Only because we need room to, make sure we have enough for the song's going to be maybe about 30 seconds. So we'll change that. So now we got 15-second clip durations. So we have those in there. And this is only a 640 by 480 video production. It's not going to be really like the 16 by 9 high definition that we're all used to. It's just a standard 640 by 480. 4:3 ratio. So here's our two photos. There's no motion, these are just still pictures. And I'm going to put a transition in between here, only because we want to, just have a little bit of a transition in here to, give it a little bit of animation here, so there's like a nice smooth transition between pictures, give it a little effect. We're going to make this maybe 2 seconds long. Just, it'll be a 2-second transition. Okay, here's 2. So like if we start here, you can see it kind of radial wipes into the next picture. So something very simple. That's all we really needed to do with this. We'll save the project. And we'll call that Historical Binghamton Video. Okay, so we saved that project. We're not going to worry about rendering it or anything or making it ready for final production. We have an audio track, so what we'll do is we'll go over to the music workstation and we'll compose that song, which obviously is going to be a much longer process. The Binghamton song that Lester Cayley put together. I have to put all the notes into the individual tracks, the bass, the chords, maybe add a few occasional drum beats and everything, just to give it a little nice sound and a little bit of a good tempo to it. And then we will pull that into this project and it'll complete our video. So you'll see the music production of this project next. So here's our music workstation if you haven't seen it before. Obviously a Dell 15-inch Inspiron laptop, which has really performed well and awesome for us. 32 gigabytes of RAM with that. Nice curved monitor, sidelined by these KRK 8-inch white noise monitor speakers. Outstanding quality. We have a mixer over here where all our inputs and outputs go through. Our USB audio and MIDI interface, which of course helps us make sure that our keyboard here, our MIDI keyboard, can create all the necessary sounds we need. Hard drive backup storage and everything. And of course we have, for vocal recording we have microphones and pop filter, reflection filter. So it's a really nice workstation. This is where we'll be putting together the song, the Binghamton song, for this particular video. Okay, instead of using Dorico, I just decided to encode the notes into Cubase just the way I could read them from the song, because the song is very old and they don't use double bar notes. And sorry, I kicked the camera there. Can't get this chair to cooperate here. So we're using Cubase here, and I just threw in a Halion instrument and a bunch of a couple of trumpets I can use for the lead lines, and we can pretty much we put the song together based on the notes I could read. So this is what it sounds like right now. So that's the rendition of the song. I'm not really sure how authentic it would sound to the original. We can add, I don't know what's wrong with my voice, we can add a few more instruments in there to make it sound more authentic, more orchestral-like. But now I got to work on the bass, and I got to work on some chords in the background, and we'll get some more of that put together and show you how it sounds. Okay, after hours of work, I finally got all the tracks laid out. As close as I could come, because in this book, it's very difficult to read those notes precisely and everything, so I did my best. I didn't do the notation through Dorico like I wanted to, because the way Dorico writes music is much different than the way this was written, and it was really confusing trying to get the notes to all line up. So I just figured I'd just go through and make the notes the best way I knew how to make them, and I was just using the DAW known as Cubase Pro 11. And this is what I came up with as far as the Binghamton song. What we've done here is we've added main orchestral instruments that you would probably hear back in the day. A couple of trumpets, a tuba, a trombone, and a French horn. And then of course we have like a bass, like you'd see like a bass violin. We also added a chord pad, which is kind of synthy, but it's not really too modern in a sense. And then of course some simple jazz drums. This is all in MIDI other than the drums, so you won't get the EQ to hear each instrument individually as well. I'll have to mix all these tracks down to audio and then compress and EQ them so they'll come out much better than what you'll hear when the video's put together. And that's it. So we'll mix these tracks down, we'll convert them to audio, compress and EQ them, and we'll have a final rendition for you in a moment. And just to show you how that takes place here at Exhilaration Sensation at the Heights Music Production Studio, what we'll do, we've already done the drums as far as compression and EQ. We're going to do the bass next, and what we need to do is combine all the tracks or glue them together. So we will, what's known as rendering in place, we'll render in place, change the settings for that. We're just going to basically do a 24-bit depth. What it does is it actually creates a file for us. Use the project audio folder and then render it. And what that does is it gives us an audio track off that bass. It automatically mutes the MIDI. So now we have an audio track for the bass. You can kind of hear the drums a little bit better here. So now that we've got the audio track for the bass, as you can see here, we can go in and start doing something with channel strips. So we can supply this with some presets for compression. We've got some bass compression, so we want to figure out like maybe which one we want to use. A lot of bass, just something straight. We'll just use like maybe a clean pop or tight pop here. Open that, we got a compression envelope or an EQ envelope, some tube saturation, and some vintage compression. So that'll make it come out better. And what we'll do is we'll solo that so you can hear it. Turn the volume up a little. So that's a little bit too much. I mean, it really comes through loud, but it's a little bit too much. So we're obviously going to have to pot that down a little bit. I don't like using this particular type of compressor, so I'm going to change that out. How do I get back out of this? Close it, reopen it. We're going to change this out, and we're going to just use the standard compressor here. So you can hear the bass comes through a lot more clear and defined now that we've EQ'd it. Of course, they didn't have these tools back in 1925, but that's what we have at our disposal now. So, and we're going to keep doing that with the other tracks to get them all sound. And as you can see, we're really high up in our volume here. Obviously, we wanted to gain stage this so everything comes out and we can get a maximum volume without clipping. So we're going to do that for the rest of the tracks, and we'll have a final rendition for you next. Okay, we're done. What I've done here, as you can see, I've colored all the tracks differently. They're all exported down to audio. Each track has compression and EQ on them. They don't have actual presets for brass instruments, so I kind of had to fudge it a little bit, tweak them a little bit using other types of presets, but they all sound pretty good together. And I also put in an R4 reverb, a fat vintage hall reverb. The R4 reverb is a nice tool from Exponential Audio, which is part of the Isotope family. We've got tons of plugins for that as far as changing sounds, great compression and EQ tools, and these reverb tools are like the best that we can obtain in the industry. So those are all great tools at our disposal that we can offer to you as a business to help you with your electronic music solution. So here's the final rendition of the Binghamton song. And of course that reverb doubles as an effect that makes it sound more authentic, like something you would hear back in the day. So this is really going to put that into perspective. Next we'll get back to our video, import this as an audio file and put the whole video together, and you'll see it live next. course, one final step we normally do after we create the final export from the DAW is to bring it into our main audio editor, SoundForge Pro. And as you can see, this is the song here. Obviously, it's still low as far as the volume goes, and it's really not compressed as well as we want it to. So basically what we're going to do is just apply some additional compression with our wave hammer here. And what we'll do is we will limit it 6 dB and maximize it. And that gives it obviously more volume, as you can see now, the envelope, and we're just going to pot that down a little bit, you know, maybe by 2. We don't want this to be overwhelmingly loud, so and of course we trim the ends of it to make sure we get the entire song in there. So now we've got our final audio file. We can save that here, and then of course pull that over into our video, and you'll see the video completion next. Okay, back at our other workstation, we've got the final Binghamton song imported into the folder, and we'll bring up Davinci Resolve. Get back into our video project. Very simple, very affordable here at Exhilaration Sensation at the Heights Music Production Studio. We cut to the chase. We don't beat around the bush. We just we make things happen. It's very, very simple, but we have very powerful solutions and fast turnaround for you. So here's our video. And we go to our media. We'll pull that in. Whoops. Go from here. Bennington song 1925. And we just exported that down to a 48K 16-bit file. It doesn't have to be in its highest quality. This isn't what we're not trying to go for like the highest quality. Trying to make it a little bit more authentic. It doesn't need to be in like the most modern of styles. But you know, it is for what it is. So. And as you notice, our song is a little shorter than the video, so we're going to trim this down. The song looks to be about 25 seconds long, almost 26, so we're going to make this kind of like 13 and 13 if we can. Take these two and change the durations to 13 seconds apiece. You notice I got rid of our transition, so we're going to have to fix that. Okay, so that's fine. We'll have to re-add our transition in there. We did that successfully earlier, which was the radio wipe. And of course we changed that to 2 seconds, of course. Whoops, let's zoom in on that. Okay. Video is ready to go. Let's set an in point and out point. Okay, and let's play it. One thing we didn't do with the video was to fade in the first second here. We wanted to fade in the first second here. So we're just setting our opacity keyframes to do such. So now it fades in, and then of course the end it will fade out for us. So we set opacity to 0 here, bring it back to 25 seconds, and set a keyframe for the opacity there, and it'll fade out there. So as you notice when we were playing through the video, the music sounded choppy, and it's only because it hasn't been rendered, but we're ready to do that now. So let's get ready to deliver that. in H.264 format is 640 by 480, 30 frames per second. H.264 codec, so it plays as an MP4 file, and we'll call it Binghamton. It's a historical Binghamton video. Historical Binghamton video. Okay, and we will clear our previous render queue that we did earlier, and we'll add to the render queue and render all. And that's ours to it. Go to our folder. And here is our final video. It's 640 by 480. Oh, something's wrong here, unless that's not the right one. Unless I forgot to export audio. Hang on a minute. Oh. The audio wasn't exported. My apologies. Let's redo that again. I thought the audio was exported. I didn't realize it was not checked. Okay, so now we're ready to re-render that. And replace, and render all. Really doesn't matter what the audio format is when we pull it in. It's always going to revert to a data rate of 192 kilobytes per second at 16-bit depth. 16-bit depth with an AAC codec. That's Applied Acoustics codec or something like that. I'm not quite sure what that means. But yeah, now we should get the final video the way we want it to. So, advertising, historical Binghamton. And that's it. Project's done. It'll be on the website. Look for it there, exhilarationsensation.com. Thanks for tuning in.